J Squad.
We gotta find now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue. The program. That's the first clue. We gotta find that's the first clue. That's the first clue.
Yo, what is going on tonight, everybody? Hope you're doing well. A little bit quieter today than it has been in the last few, but I figured we'd kick back and catch up on some videos that I wanted to watch and get back to playing a little bit of Rimworld. Boom, got me up there. Let's head over here. Where are we at? Boom, boom, boom. There we go. There we go. Now we just pull up the big boy here. Ooh, excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, hasn't been much. Well, I mean, there's the normal things. Endymion's still fighting about, still trying to call Ghosts of Yotei a failure. Smash JT is trying to get points in wherever he can get points in. So it's all kind of the traditional stuff right now. I mean, he's still banging on about Hassan too. I'm trying to see if I can get some info on this Tigra diaper baby person, because that just seems absolutely fucked. But boom, we're gonna start here today. This one comes from a friend of the channel, Simon. He made a little video on Rev. Hold on, let me make sure that that's down enough. Andy is still yapping about Yotei. Yes, he is. I mean, it's all he's got to do is it's the game's a failure, and he's got to let everyone know it's a failure because his sources, dog, his sources. The rest of everyone in the market is saying something completely different than you, but it's his sources, and I'm sure he'll have a way to cope or say it's still a failure. Boop. There we go. We'll lock it down there. But let's watch this video real quick. Yeah, I'm finally giving your shit a watch. I said I was going to do it. I just didn't say when. I said I was going to do it, just didn't say when. I can actually still see that little fucker, and that bothers me. Oop. There we go. And there. Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, let's go ahead and start out with this video about Rev and Hassan. This was about Hassan.
Why? It's fun.
Well. Looks like your boy finally triggered Rev Says Shih Tzu hard enough that he made a cameo appearance in one of his videos. Now I know I said that I was going to reduce my coverage of Rev's Slop content, but this situation was just too funny for me to ignore. Not only that, but your boy Rev also put his hypocrisy and self-projection on full display this time around. I'm also going to be putting Rev's video at 1.75 speed, given that this loser takes forever to
Thank God.
point. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it, shall we?
It appears that your boy has been called out by who else but Hassan Piker, who is concern trolling, asking, referring to me, if I'm okay. Referring to the fact that I've made many videos about him and his orbiters. Well, I'm doing more than just fine, and we'll explain everything going on with his response in just a second. But where did this all begin? Well, it starts with this call-out post targeting me and several other YouTubers, saying the anime community would be so much better if they were not involved. And apparently, according to the response...
What's sad is you say you have him on ×3 speed, but he sounds like he's fucking normal speed.
Right here, my opinion and the opinion of 3 others is deserving of execution. Yeah, grats Nux, you made it. You made it, Nux Taku. You get to live, but unfortunately for the other people in this thread.
Is that what they said? The anime community would be so much better if they were not involved. Was this a threat to violence? It doesn't sound like it.
We're not going to make it according to this user.
Bro, if you're gonna throw shade my way in your low-effort slop, at least get the timeline of events right, you fucking numbskull. Also, yeah, I saw that reply to my post, and even I found it to be rather...
Oh, is it 1.75?
Twitter users go on Twitter, and we'll say some wild shit whether we like it or not. Figured you know this by now.
First time.
Of course, all this is referring to the fact that I've made many videos on Hassan Piker, as I should. That's kind of in my job description, right? This is a guy who is running amok. He is someone who is saying things that are not only violating the Twitch TOS, in many cases, he's violating the law. There's a reason why someone like me talks about him so much. I don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
Acting like a psychopath. If he stops advocating for political violence and stops just being a really crazy person, people like me would have no reason to talk about him. And I'm not ashamed. In fact, I think I should make more videos because he deserves it. Right?
Cool story, bro. I don't like Hassan either for similar reasons, and think that the guy is to the left what Asmongold is to the right. That being political poison meant to radicalize people of their unhinged takes and rhetoric. Difference is...
Yeah, why can't we just all come together and hate both of them equally? It'd be such a more beautiful world, a beautiful place.
Daily videos crying like a little bitch about the man and his moronic orbiters. Hell, even these videos that I make covering your stupid ass are few and far between, given that I have way better shit to do with my life. But people like me who relentlessly criticize you on social media are the ones that are obsessed. Which, don't worry, we'll get back to that in just a bit.
And of course, he would respond to a related tweet saying, "Holy S, is this guy okay? Doing more than okay, man. I don't have to do 10-hour daily political streams. I don't have to cater to an audience. I'm not captured by an audience that demands calls for violence."
Ooh, that's a big claim, Rev. That's a big claim that you're not captured by your audience. I would say that you may be even more captured by your audience than Hassan is.
Not audience captured, Rev? Dude, you literally made over 40 videos related to the guy within the last 2 months. Hating on Hassan is all the rage at the moment, to the point where everyone and their conservative grandmas are getting in on it due to how lucrative it is. So don't give me this bullshit that you're not audience captured, Rev, because you 100% are. See, this is what I meant by his hypocrisy and projection being on full display. And I refuse to believe that Rev lacks this much self-awareness that he doesn't know that what he's saying is
I'm audio only and thought that was Simon losing it. Oh. Is Rev crashing out? This is from earlier in Hassan. Simon pissed off Rev enough that Rev put him in a video finally. So we're just kind of going over it. I've told Simon I would watch it before. And I mean, yeah, Rev is just like, you can't. All of these people are audience captured. If you're following the direct drama for more than likely clicks and views, you are absolutely audience captured. Just kind of the way it goes.
critical.
But of course,
And a better thing to ask Red Stain is, when isn't Rev's crashing out?
calls me obsessed. Well, of course, most of his content and his streams have been dedicated to individuals like Asmongold, who he continues to talk about despite the fact that Asmongold is on a break. He's on a hiatus, and he still talks about him basically every day. We're not even talking about Destiny, for example. He talks about him on a near daily basis.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Pot calling the kettle black much? I'm starting to see a pattern here, and honestly, it's really fucking pathetic. Hate Farm Hassan, glaze up Asmongold. Swear to God, man, the tension here is so high that I'm starting to wonder whether I'm watching a Rev Says Desu Slop video or a love triangle scene from some gay-ass rom-com series. But then again, given your past obsession with femboys, guess you being in the closet is not too far-fetched of an assumption. You can watch my previous video on Twink Desu if you want to know more about that.
But of
Twink
course,
Desu.
what is this guy doing? What is
Uh-oh.
the issue with Hassan? This is someone who only a day
Cameo appearance at that bro didn't have the balls to mention me by name. Oh, Cracks, what are you doing? Get out of here. Oh, yeah, I was trying to buy weapons. Boop, boo.
There you go. Posted this on Instagram. The song, Bella Ciao, while he's deadlifting with horrible form, by the way. This is the anthem of Antifa.
Do we really think that Rev does a lot of fucking deadlifting to know what the form is? Or is he just saying that because it's Hassan doing it? Like, literally would not give Hassan any space. Let's see. His arms are at the outside of his knees. His knees are shoulder widths apart. I mean, that seems pretty decent form. I'd have to see the full movements, and I'm not an expert, but I really don't believe that Rev is any sort of expert either.
A designated terrorist organization. He is stoking the flames. This is the guy asking, "Are you
Stoking
okay?"
the
The second you
flames.
stop talking about insane stuff, the second you stop advocating for political violence, the second you stop sharing messages like this, we will stop talking about you.
I am about to have a brain aneurysm.
Bro, the song dates back from 1953 and is older than my mother. And she's kicking in her 60, you dumbass. Not to mention, if you do a quick Google search, you'll find that its origins were widely unknown, other than it came from Italy and became widespread after the Second World War. This is like saying death metal is Satanist propaganda, or that Rich Men North of Richmond is a communist anthem because it's anti-capitalism and anti-billionaire. This take is so stupid and idiotic that it legit hurts my brain. It's so devolved of any intelligence.
It is so crazy how this group of people have appeared that are just like absolute shills for the government. Like the American tradition has always been to hate your government but love America. and now we've got people that just will absolutely do everything they can to glaze them, even when they're doing the very thing they don't want to be done to them. Oh, they're using tactics that I was crying about in 2016, 2017. Well, you know, it's on the other side now. Soy left, soy right. Couldn't have said it better.
Intelligence.
But it just gets worse. So I responded to Yeats' sharing of this post, and you can see my response saying, and I would ask, has he considered not saying dumb things on a daily basis? He's just free real estate at this point.
That is riveting memeage right there. Yes, I love my country but hate my government, like every good American should.
Nuck said, each of these videos represents a different legitimate reason to deport Hassan. Not sure this is the dunk Hassan thinks it is. Here's another one saying, each video I've ever done on Hassan represents something illegal or evil that he has said or done. Another one saying, this is what...
There's also this fucking crazy idea of illegal. Like, none of these dudes know what actually would be considered legal or illegal. They just try to vaguely mention some statute or some standard and then go with it and be like, look, it's illegal. You have no idea. Then why isn't the person arrested yet, huh? Why are they just walking around free if they're doing stuff so illegal? One big thing with Hassan that they always want to try and go after is that he is like materially helping a terrorist organizations because of the way he talks about groups like the Houthi and stuff like that. But if you actually read the law, that has nothing to do with it. Like none of his stuff would fall under, I don't think, of course, I don't fully know, would fall under this material thing, just because I don't see it falling under even propaganda, even though me personally, I might consider it that.
What some people, and him do, can engage with the criticisms or the content and just prefer to call you obsessed as a way to downplay you, which only works for the lowest common denominator of people, which Hassan's community is, in this person's opinion.
Hey Rev. This you?
Search Rev on this person's account to understand how insane people like this are.
Oh, Jesus.
Sweetie, you untouched swine. For casual viewers seeing this post, just search the term Rev on this person's account to understand how much of a terminally online stalker they are. If you want a horror show, search Rev on this account. Do not search Rev on this guy's account. If you're confused about this person's intention, search Rev on their account. Do not search Rev on this person's account. It's a silent levels. Keyword. Search Rev on this guy's account.
Jesus Christ. How many has he done? Is that all from this year? Or this last? Jesus. Oh, really? Who's...
royally pisses me off about Rev. When he obsessively makes 40 plus videos about one dude, it's just free real estate or milking for content. But when others like myself relentlessly criticize him or call him out on his bullshit, then you're just an obsessive stalker or some lame-ass crap. And yes, I'm aware, Rev is citing someone in the replies, but it's real funny how this person who made this comment is also describing Rev to a T.
Yep.
He does this shit all the fucking time.
Now, I saw this other thread, and when I first opened it, I was like, oh, here's another hate thread. But you know what, this person, they gave me a fair chance, okay? In quotes, the anime community would be so much better without these R-worded a-holes in it, end quote. constantly complaining about these.
Did he just, was he afraid to say retard? Like he's supposed to be on the side that says it. Oh, that's just being like absolutely what's the word? Like monetization cucked, what I would say. Like he's afraid that word's going to get him taken care of. I don't know. I mean, you can actually say fuck in the super chats now, so.
Worded a-holes is exactly why they'll forever be relevant. You R-worded idiots complaining about them every effing day is why they'll never fade. And I've opened many threads like this. I did not expect someone to call me based who made it, but thank you. But this person understands. Okay.
What? Yeah. He said he never expected anyone to call him based. Yeah, he self-censors like all this all the time because he's afraid of getting demonetized. Yeah, but like retard isn't one of those ones that get you. We've pretty much taken that word back. You can now say fucking super chat. So it sounds like it is starting to go back the other direction. I don't think we're ever going to hear anybody hard R-ing somebody, but I think the monetization issue with at least words, there's other things that I think are going to become a problem, are pretty much done.
Okay. The reason people like me, Nux, Jibby, etc. stay relevant is because idiots keep complaining. If you don't like me or these people, shut up. Shut up. That's it. Just don't talk about us.
No.
But Rev, you're really not that relevant. People just like to farm you at this point.
No, I don't think I will.
It's really as simple as that, but these people, they just can't help themselves. They can't help themselves because attention on Twitter is more important than silencing the supposed bad guys they made their entire life about.
Bro,
Or
shut
even
the
using the
fuck
F slur,
up.
yeah.
Better shit to do with my life than waste my time trying to farm for Twitter engagement for pennies
Like,
on the dot.
Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know about the F slur yet. That one's one that I would still self-censor with for now, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it could be going back. Yeah, the F slur will probably not be one that ever comes back. Those two just have a lot of, I guess, weight behind them now.
Dollars from Daddy Elon, which is why I don't have a blue check mark, nor will I ever pay for one. I do this shit because it's fun and kills whatever downtime I have while at work, and getting a reaction out of you is always a joy to watch. You're a lol cow, Rev, and the only people who don't think that are the little shit stains within your own echo chamber. As for the whole trying to silence you bit, which is basically you saying, wah, please stop criticizing me, wah, maybe engage with the criticism instead of ignoring it, doubling down, or appealing to the lowest common denominator by calling your critics obsessed. Then maybe, just maybe, folks like myself would finally have a reason to shut up and stop relentlessly.
Yeah, I agree with you, Simon. I don't think the F slur is going to be coming back. Yeah, this is a common tactic too. Is like, you're obsessed with me. You're obsessed with me. You have 50, 60 videos on one woman, Alyssa Mercante. I'm obsessed with you.
Clowning on you. Because hate to break it to you, Rev, most of your critics these days are all former fan of yours who think you've lost the plot. Your audience captured, and the people still watching you are those who are perpetually outraged. And guess what? The moment they stop being outraged is the moment you fall into irrelevancy. Because the anime portion of your audience, who used to watch you for your coverage of antis, have long tuned out and are pretty much dead subscribers at this point. Given that you've basically turned into the very thing you used to make fun of, your inevitable downfall and all the flack you've been getting as of late is purely of your own making. So I'm going to end the video a little differently this time.
You can definitely hear the spite a little bit in Simon's voice. Like there's definitely some spite in there.
Around and leave you with this little tune to dwell on. La 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 la.
You can't blame Simon for it.
Every single week it's like another drama flavored tea. But you burned the pot, you lost the plot, and now I finally see you play the victim, painted hits on right in front of me. Yeah, I'm lapping up all that attention you see. When we're in public, you play nice, think I don't know a thing. But hey, yeah, I got friends to fill me in. They're always listening. If you weren't so loud, you'd have a shroud that could conceal your truth. But you'd rather scream and yell and kick your feet in front of you. You just can't seem to keep your mouth closed. Twist every situation.
Is that Simon's use of the word fuck? Oh yeah, I can be hella petty, and this tune is the example of that. Yeah, I hear it.
To paint yourself the victim, such pointed teeth behind your wool clothes. You'd solve your problems if you just could finally shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut.
What's going on, Reddy? What's going on? Yeah, I think you could apply it to just about all of them. It's always about the same.
The fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Please, you run your mouth like that's your job. I think you got some wires crossed. Nothing to gain, so much to lose. If only you could choose to shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut.
Oh man, there you go. That's Simon. If you haven't checked him out, he does make a few videos. Definitely go check out Blood Wench though. I'm only about a little ways through it. I've been promising him I'm going to finish it, and I promise him one day I will before I die. But check out his book as well. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. So I wanted to be petty in my own way. What's going on, Vincent? What's going on? I wanted to go ahead and watch one more Dungeons and Dragons with the gay little picture, and then I'm done. I promise. We've done the video on everyone else that's kind of come about it, and then I saw this. I didn't think this would be a video he would make. He's clearly not a D&D player. He even admits it in the video. But let's go through this one and see where it takes us. See what our buddy has to say. Oh, wrong one. Let's try that again.
Support your local grifters by liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you double check to see if you're subscribed if you enjoy the grifting content, okay?
That is a good point. If you haven't liked the stream yet, guys, go ahead and like the stream. Like the stream. We got only 2 likes on it, with 5 or 6 people in at this moment. And if you like the content, subscribe so you can enjoy the slop with us today.
Hype the video if you can, if you're on mobile. Oh boy.
Okay, I need these 2 to be healed.
Oh man. Every time you think the industry might be getting a little bit better, you're constantly reminded that there's still work to be done, ladies and gentlemen. There's still work.
A pity, thank you, Vincent.
What I'm talking about. Well,
work to be done. What work is there to be done? One thing that I keep hearing, I don't know if he's going to bring it up, is all these people talk about gatekeeping. What are you going to do to gatekeep anybody out of Dungeons and Dragons? You can't even get Dungeons and Dragons to stop making shit the way they're doing it. Literally, they just did this gay picture and nothing is going to change because of it. So what work is there to do? By
saying I've never been a Dungeons and Dragons guy. I'm sorry. I've never been. You know what I'm saying? You might
tourist
argument that that's because you're black. It's too complicated for you. I don't know.
Maybe gatekeeping is useless. True. Gatekeeping is 100% useless.
I was on in making up the story. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'd rather write my own story. You know what I'm saying? It's just like rolling dice. I saw.
See, and that's what you're missing out on, bud. There is nothing like collaborative storytelling to have some of the most hilarious moments come together. You can get into the groups that are serious, but I think most D&D groups fall into slapstick comedy by the end of it.
Some of it in you know,
Says the guy whose keeps fresh bacon. Well, that's my people. Y'all are eating my people, and I'm going to stop that damage to the piggy kind. So keep at it, Sector. You're the next target.
Stranger Things. I don't know how accurate that was.
That's true, Vincent. You need to be in control before you can gatekeep. The only people who can gatekeep are Wizards of the Coast, and they're not gatekeeping. If anything, they're applying to everybody.
I want to say Sevi about it just yesterday as we were playing Arc Raiders, which is interestingly a decent game. When it comes out, you should go and get Arc Raiders. And they were telling me it's very time consuming. I know you got to roll dice to see outcomes and stuff like that. I was never into it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, coming up, that was viewed as really nerdy, but you're talking to a nigga that played with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I don't know. I feel like that's on board with Dungeons and Dragons. You know, Heart of the Cards, all that, whatever. I'm saying that to say that I won't sit here and grift and pretend like I'm just the arbiter of truth when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. But what I do know about Dungeons and Dragons, nigga, is it don't look like this.
Wrong. Their work involves milking this drama for what it's worth. Yeah, exactly. This is absolutely what D&D can look like. Like I've said before, the festival is like one of the most common tropes in fantasy, as Simon liked to call me out on, that there is, which is a merry band of people all jumping around having a good time. This one just happens to have a gay couple in the center and some animals that some monsters that people don't agree can sometimes not be evil, right?
What the hell? Oh my God. What is this? When I first saw this, I thought that this was somebody's fan art, but nigga.
You know what's sad? When it comes to this drama, nobody is unique anymore. It's just the same but different in a format. Oh, it's absolutely what it is. They just take the exact same picture or video or whatever and they watch it. Or someone will make a video and they'll watch that person's video, but it's not to do what I'm doing, right? It's not to critique it. It's not what most commentary would do, where if they are watching a video even on their fellow, they're trying to actually break it down to whether they believe the person is right or wrong. That's actual critique. This is just copy pasting the same stuff across the board. All the big boys make money. Everyone on the bottom side of the triangle gets their little views where they can.
It is not. This is not fan art. This is This is the Dungeons and Dragons main account in this realm.
So
your story is yours to tell.
You know what's funny about X accounts or side accounts and things like that? What they tend to do is put up fan art. Can you tell me which book this is in? Can anyone tell me what book this is in?
Look at this god. Look at this god awfulness. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. What the hell am I looking at? This shit is gay as hell.
That I'll give him. It is gay as hell.
Look, you got Negro granny and Asian granny at the bottom hugged up with each other like they finna smooch.
Hold on. I didn't get that they were about to smooch. Is that a thing? Hold on. They're talking. Like that's not. Are they holding hands? Hold on. I got to go find the fucking picture now. Are you kidding me? Where's the fucking... Oh. This is already like, oh, look at that. They've recently put out other art that no one seems to be complaining about, even though there's bisexual purple in there. It's almost like this was only being used for the drama. Okay. She's got her hand around her. So maybe she's clapping. She's looking at her. Maybe, I guess. All right. Keep going.
Who the hell is this? Is that like a safe space and from the Marvel? What is this? What is
It's
this
a
right
fucking
here?
bard like any other fucking bard.
Oh my god, is that two men?
Oh my god, is that two men?
Make this shit up. You cannot make this
There's
shit up. I
two
gotta
men
get memes and
in
stuff.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Hit y'all with the memes as I'm doing this. Look, there goes the cliche black girl I always tell y'all about over there with the puff ball on her head. We can't never get. Oh wait, is that another black woman down there? Maybe. Okay, can I zoom in a little bit? Nah, I can't zoom in. Well, you always get the afro head black woman on there. You never get like a thick, you know what I'm saying, stolen white woman hair black woman in the game. It's always this. Who's
What?
This? There's probably an Asian woman. There's another black girl. There's a white, no blue-eyed, blonde-haired white women here because we can't have that.
Jesus.
Of course. Oh, they actually put a white man in that. Bro, this shit is insane. This looks like
He's like in real time proving himself wrong. Oh, there's a white dude right there. That's crazy.
Took it up the ass from what was that old dragon cartoon? Was it? Damn, what was the old? Fuck, I can't think of it. Dragon Tales. Dragon Tales. It looked like.
I remember Dragon Tales.
Yes. It looked like Dungeons and Dragons got fucked in the ass by Dragon Tales. That's exactly what it looks like. Bro. You can't make this shit up. And this shit was going viral.
We won't consider, we won't consider Atreus much of an art connoisseur, but I guess, there's something wrong with colors.
Man, we got to see some of the reactions to this because I just know you have made the fantasy genre so cringe. I get secondhand.
Some people are trying to turn anything into drama. Yeah, this is like you're trying to force it. Like it looks like what's colorful? What's something colorful? Bro would be losing his shit if he watched a single Melissa the Tiefling stream. Is that the one that you've told me about, the dragon fucker? I mean, yeah, it's got colors. Like even well, of course not AD&D. AD&D didn't have any color, but 3.5 had lots of colors and different color palettes. You could definitely say that 5e went darker on its color palette from one to the other, and then it got brighter and more cartoony with 2024, which I agree. I don't like the artwork for a lot of the monsters and things like that in 2024. It's too cartoonish for what I like. I like the darker looking art. But guess what? I'll still play this weekend. I'm going to play 2024 because that's what my friends group wants to play. So I'm pulling the campaign out, getting it ready for them. And we'll just use our own imagination for the art.
Embarrassment just looking at this. In my story, the blue dragon actually does what it would do in this situation. No, y'all gotta see it.
Funny thing is it's probably a silver dragon. And maybe it is, let's take that thing. This is a festival. You see a dragon in the background. What is the possible thing that it could be happening? Everyone's celebrating and no one sees the dragon in the sky until the last minute. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's a hate crime. That is absolutely a hate crime. You can't do that. Once you remove the rainbow filter, you can see the reality behind the people who made this abomination. Oh my God, Grok turning stuff into videos is holy.
Cancer. It's cancer.
Right.
It's probably the worst thing I've ever seen in most cases.
Epic Mike, Savvy in there. Gay as fuck. Gay. Yeah, y'all getting cooked. Y'all getting cooked.
I know he talked more about this.
To this, for the love of God, someone take D&D from these.
I'm not going to repeat on what I've already proven this wrong because I've posted the actual lore pictures from 2024, and this isn't it.
Retarded degenerates.
She's pretty big in the D&D space, though. I don't watch a lot of D&D YouTubers, so maybe she is. Maybe I'll check her out sometime. Maybe you've convinced me
Already. So.
And I'll hate myself afterwards.
This is what that monster's supposed to be. Oh my God. That looks intimidating and dope. And this is what you get.
You see how it's so fake? And like all he's done is look at tweets from other people and posts and compared these two people. All it takes is about 10 seconds worth of any kind of research to realize what the actual difference is. And I think there's critique there. There's absolutely critique there in what's going on. But none of these dudes can actually do any kind of research. It's just repeat the same video. I hate AI. It's so fucking cringe. It all looks like fucking slop. I don't care who you are or where you are. It all looks like fucking slop.
You can't make this shit up. You just can't make it up, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I know that I'm grifting, but I needed this laugh. I needed it. You know what I'm saying? I was having a little bit of a rough.
It's okay, but I got a lot of laughs from this too.
Work this morning, unlike some people. And, I'm tired of working. You know what I'm saying? I want to grift for the rest of my life. I want to be a full-time grifter. Okay? I want to grift for the rest of my life. And I had to go to work this morning. So I was having a little bit of a rough day. And then this right here just... I mean, come on, guys. How can you not laugh at this? How do you... And so there's this argument. And I wonder if I can find the post. I wonder if I can find it. Because I actually saw this. Let me see if I can go to... Let's see. If I click on this... Let's see, view the quotes. I think somebody said it. Let me see if I can find it. The demon is literally the gooner dad that cooked his kid in the car. Okay. He is right. Okay. And of course, I don't think it's probably going to take me forever to find it, which I'm not obviously not going to. This ratio, the original post, did it? I don't know about that. How can it? Oh, did it? Nah, it ain't been ratioed yet. It ain't been ratioed yet. But so somebody had quote tweeted this and said something along the lines of, Dungeons and Dragons is supposed to be about telling your own story, right? And making the things that you want to be. And I'm gonna leave it to the Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm pretty sure he's talking about my post. That sounds about like something I said during that.
To, address that. But if that be true, if this is about telling your own story, the Dungeons and Dragons platform is about telling the story that you want to tell within the confines of what the game presents you. So if the game presents...
No, it's not. D&D, by most accounts, is the rule set that you are using. Yes, there are established lores within D&D that will give you things to work with. Like the monster manual gives you a lot of rules for monsters, as well as you being able to update and change. It used to give you, this is another gripe I have for 2024, it used to give you the rules to make your own monsters. So, but it doesn't do that anymore. They want you to, their thing now is just take one of the monsters from our books and just use that. And I'm like, that's a terrible idea. That's not what we want. No, you need to go over here. You're not the fastest. Boom, boom. Get out of the way. Let big boy handle it. And yeah, that's just completely wrong is what he's saying. The rule set is what D&D is. Then there's the worlds that are within D&D. You've got like Faerun, you've got Greyhawk, you've got Eberron. These are all worlds you can use, but you don't even have to use that. You can make everything else the fuck up. It doesn't matter. If you're using the D20 rule set, you're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes. And says, I want you to tell a story, you know, based around you and your friends and this monster. And then you decide, okay, I'm going to turn it into this. Bitch, it's not Dungeons and Dragons anymore.
Yep, just wrong. That is an actual tourist behavior. It is. It 100% is.
Dungeons and Fugits. You know what I really wanted to say there? That's going to be the replacement. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Melanie Mack. I'm going to say Fugits. Dungeons.
It's basically just suggestion when you really think about it, since people can easily make what they want. And people have been doing that forever. Some of the most prominent and popular monsters have come out of the community making them, right? I think of there's a what's it called? A Hydra that makes you that you can see through, that makes you lose your memory and stuff like that. I always think of that as an example. Or a variety of it. The Bagman. The Bagman is a great horror monster that basically can't be killed unless you go into his realm, but he steals people and things away. So, I mean, this idea, it's always been about making your own worlds. Gary Gygax created his own world inside of it. And even when he was talking about some of the people that I was researching around him, they created their own worlds with it before they eventually... The False Hydra, that is a good one. The False Hydra. I plan to use that in this campaign when they get to be high enough level. I'm going to use it in tandem with another monster that steals people's memories. But so yeah, there's this. It's make believe with dice to give you rules on what happens.
Fugits. That's what we're looking at right here. Jesus Christ,
Whether Gary Gygax likes the way people are making stories with his games or not, that's what he did. He made a game where you could create your own stories with your friends. It's not set up to be one individual thing, right? It's a sword and sorcery is what it's made for in the long run, but that hasn't always been a thing, and people have made, you know, different worlds off of it, different offshoots. Ooh, no, get back, come back. No, you shoot at that thing. Fire at Wasp. Woo. Had to take a minute there. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. It's oh, back up. Okay, good. All right, that was in the clear. All right, back to it. But yeah, this is a take that a lot of the people that say they're D&D players are around, but this is 100% a tourist take of D&D, period. Even from back in the day when I was playing. And we also suddenly have this rise of these people who believe that the only true D&D is a D&D, and that used to be a very small community. I think there's a bunch of people jumping on this bandwagon suddenly that AD&D is the 2-1 because they don't want to say 5e was good now, even though they're using 5e as an example. Well, that's pretty much that video. Gonna get into some more slop. So we'll go ahead and get into... What was the next one on the charts here? Boom. There we are. I wanted to watch this one. The Geeks and Gamers, I think, is a little bit up to date. Current events, we'll say. It looks like, I guess they're the ones combining with that Park Place, right? But I don't like it. To me, like I see a lot of people like Endymion coping. Oh, good to see it. Usually when like two companies are merging, it's not because they're both doing well. It's usually because one is not. So I don't know if this is friends trying to help each other out or what they think this is. But let's see what's going on here. I've been told this guy is pretty soy, but that's what happens when Simon sends me videos.
I'm bored. However, our friends over at Geeks and Gamers are not doing so hot. So I thought, why not do a wellness check for them free of charge? All right, so we do have a video clip we're going to look at today in just a moment, but I want to just recap you guys on something that I did 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, but we took a look at like 4 or 5 channels in the Grifty Chud space to see like what it looks like.
Grifty Chuds, yeah.
Like. The prognosis was not good.
I mean, I'm with you all on that point. Like the Chud and stuff has kind of ran its course. It's, I don't know that it's ever really meant anything. I like anti-woker better. I think it just kind of points the full term of what they are. I think that when it comes to the outrage of the anti-woke, they want to preserve stuff and stay in the past. Like, I get it, times are changing. We can't expect things to stay the same. Yeah, but I think the things that they think are, from the past aren't really what they believe it is. Like this over analysis of over sexualizing women. Like every woman has to be Asian woman type A. Asian woman type 1, whatever you want to say. Like, if there's no like creativity, they just want the same character with the same bust size and the same ass doing the same thing to the same monsters, and that's just not where the industry's going anymore. You can say something about the uglification of women. I don't think any of that is some conspiracy theory to do it. But I don't know. Who am I to know? I think most of the women that they call ugly look just fine in context. There are some ugly ones, but
Good. We have determined, looking at a lot of these channels over time, that since Trump has taken office and become president, that
I agree.
Culture around all of this is sort of dipped off. And I'm going to show you guys, we have evidence of it, right? So we're going to look at that, but it's sort of dipped off, and these guys aren't the darlings of the algorithm they used to be. They're not getting the views and the numbers they used to get. And so they're trying to find ways to stay afloat because they got so big so quickly in this ecosystem that in order for them to stay afloat,
this has been my assessment too. Like they've dug themselves so deep into the anti-woke sphere that now that is becoming unpopular, they're trying to shift into these other genres. And I don't think it's having as great an effect on some of them. Like all of them are trying to push into an already saturated market of political anti-woke culture, right? I just don't think that's going to go well.
Afloat, they have to continuously grow. They have to. If you don't grow at a certain point, you're going to plateau, and then it's just drop off at that point. And I think we've reached the drop-off phase for channels like Geeks and Gamers. Now, of course, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, still large enough that they're able to sustain themselves for now. But these like mid-range chud channels are just not seeing the numbers they used to see. And
he's spitting too, because that's what I was saying too, is like a lot of the big guys will probably still be around. They at least can stand off of the audience that they have, but the smaller ones we're going to start going away. Atreus already dropped once, and then his ego had him come back, and he finally just got monetized again. So we'll see if he sees any sustainable growth. But who else? Like some of these smaller ones have come in. Like you look at Nobody, right? Nobody really hates me, so we'll talk about Nobody a minute. He got like the influx, right? He got his 1,000 subs to get him monetized, and then from there, when you were looking at his channel, and maybe he's grown since I last looked at him. In fact, let's see. Let's take a pause here. Let's see how much he's grown, like viewership, because there was a point when me and him had the same views, but I had way less subs than him, and I still do have way less than him. Nobody is here. Is this him? What's his channel name? It's definitely not that one. I thought it was Nobody isn't here. I mean, that's not a good sign. I know that's not how you spell her name, but I can't think of it. Oh, that's Mercedes, not Mercante. Alyssa. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. None of these people are like making great money after this. Alyssa Mercante. Here we go. Here we go. So let's look at his channel. Because he got the influx. He's got 2,074. And he's got 6,000 views on this one. 200 views here, 75 views there. Let's look at. So he's got 5,000 here, 200, 75, 59, 40, 400 and 114, 114, 37. I mean, he's all over the place. He's got 2K, but he's only pulling. This one did well. Linus Tech Tips outside of really the anti-woke stuff. He's done another Alyssa Mercante video, I guess, a couple weeks ago. Collective Shout didn't get him any views. Shoe on Head got him views. But like, this isn't not the look of a healthy channel, right? And I'm tiny. What do I know? My channel is my channel is small. So if you're out there and you haven't subscribe. I am almost to 100. But those are some 73, 51, 89, 115. This one got me a lot, and this one got me a lot because they were big names. But it's not like I only have 96 subs and I'm at least pulling parts of those subs, right? 93. It's starting to go up a little bit. So he doesn't look that much different than me. And I'm like a nobody. I am literally a nobody. Bro ain't making bank off YouTube. That's for damn sure. Yeah, no kidding. He has to work a normal job to do it. And it doesn't like he's getting sustainable growth that's going to grow his channel. He's getting subs here and there, but he's not maintaining some upward momentum. Like the anti-woke injection doesn't save you in the end if no one finds you entertaining.
And I know a lot of people in my comment section were like, well, he's uploading to his secondary account, blah, blah, blah. We're going to take a look at that as well. We're going to get to that in this video. But let's watch this clip because I believe they're going to present to us some evidence that things are not looking good over at the Geeks and Gamers camp and that they're sort of struggling. So let's take a look.
We have a brand new website over on geeksandgamers.com, and we are merging with that Park Place.
Oh,
yeah.
We're going to bring their editorial team over. What the vision for this website is to obviously be the entertainment hub for our sphere, but also the news and information for our sphere as well.
Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to combine viewership into one area versus like being able to network out to grab more people. I don't know. It doesn't sound very, very good to me.
Okay, so that Park Place, which is a chuddy sort of awful propaganda site that obviously isn't doing well also. There's a lot of internal drama between that website and John.
Watch them end up like Found the Pulse. Yeah.
There's a lot of drama between those two. Obviously, that Park Place isn't doing too well. And so they were also looking for ways to stay afloat. The saturation or oversaturation, I should say, of this ecosystem is it's worse than it's ever been. There's no shortage of like anti-woke outlets that just put out slop content.
Well, the thing is, it's not even just putting out slop content. I consider what I do slop content. I consider what a lot of people do slop content. But the problem is none of it's any different. No one's putting their own flair to it. No one's talking critical issues. No one's going against the grain a little bit. It's all just trying to get those likes from an era that is past now. So yeah, it's not gonna. It's. If you've watched one anti-woker, you've watched them all. So why wouldn't you watch the big ones if you're a fan?
So the ones that were like niche and counterculture like 3 years ago are no longer that. Now they're on the other side of that. and people are taking the grift to another level. And so I'm sure that Park Place was sort of struggling with ad revenue to stay relevant. So they were looking for somewhere to go. Geeks and Gamers obviously uses a lot of articles from that Park Place, Fandom Pulse, Cosmic Book News, Breitbart, and anywhere they can. But there's not a lot of that either. They're noticing that, you look around, there's not a lot of those kinds of articles to use now. So what they need to do, what they're doing here is they want to manufacture like a human centipede of news, meaning that Geeks and Gamers will supply topics. That Park Place will then create articles about those topics, and then those topics will get repeated in Geeks and Gamers videos. So it's a circle. This is them controlling all of that. They want to be in control of every element of this. They're also hoping that people in their space, like all the people featured in this video, will start reading their news from the geeksandgamers.com website. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting some sort of like deal out of this, to be honest. I have no proof of it. That's just, that bit is a bit of speculation. But everything else in terms of like being able to control what kind of news they're getting, what kind of stuff is coming out on these outlets, whether true, false, speculation, rumor, theory, it doesn't matter. It can all be funneled through their website. And so they can create their own narratives. Now, that's because the algorithm doesn't really love them.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, it's not like they need to do that to control the narrative. They control the narrative anyway. You can, like, people on the internet don't go deeper than the person that they were watching, right? This isn't people are doing a lot of research here and digging down deep into things. So I don't think they're doing it necessarily to control the narrative. They are probably doing it, like he said, for that idea of the circle, where we have everybody in here. We're trying to take the last group of our fans that we can and keep them. So we want them watching our news. We want them watching our videos. We want them. But when you lock yourself in like that, you end up falling down the wayward. That's any business. There's a huge part of it that is networking, but no one wants to network with these guys anymore, except for other anti-works. They've already networked with each other all around, right? There's how many 9-man podcasts are there of them sitting around saying the same thing about gaming or talking about the same subject that they already talked about on their channel, where half of them don't even talk. It's just like one or two of them. Like it's not even interesting content. You could say, like with the Twitch poll stuff, that there was at least like content with people fighting back and forth in some areas if they happen to get somebody on that was, against the grain. But yeah, it's very stale. Become very, very stale.
So this is them trying to make up for that. Again, we're going to look.
Yeah, it's like people who don't focus on politics.
Their channels in a second, and I'll explain in more detail. But let's listen to the rest of the announcement.
Well, so when Az goes on a legendary rant,
clown,
when the internet is misrepresenting what happened in that rant, we're going to have an article to break it down.
No, what he's saying is we're going to run propaganda for Az.
I mean, you could say that.
When the internet reacts and gives a real opinion, we are going to have an article basically creating.
I mean, that's a little soy, because you can say that. Everyone's going to have their own perspectives and opinions. Yes, the anti-woke are wrong the vast majority of the time. But I've seen situations where the other side was wrong as well, right?
Creating a narrative, which is a word that Jeremy loves.
What's that?
Creating a narrative around what's happening so that we can continue to brainwash the remaining fans that we have, to desperately try and hold on to those remaining fans. Because the relevance of Az ranting outside of their bubble means zero, right? You wouldn't see an article written about Az by most other outlets unless it's one of those huge, massive, like viral moments like he had a couple years ago. So basically they're like, anytime Az rants, we're going to write an article about it, and then we're going to talk about it as if other news sources are covering it, because they want to keep everything in that echo chamber.
Yeah.
This looks really bad. I don't know who thinks this is based. This would be essentially like people in the liberal space creating a website, and then every article is about someone in their space. So then in their videos, they can talk about the articles that were written by the people that work for them. And that's all it is. It's just one big cycle.
Yeah.
This is not good.
I mean, look at what Rev did with Craig. Nobody wants to fuck with people like him other than those who are in the echo chamber. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing that with like, and there's some areas where you can say there's still big people that come out. The Fox chick, but she's like gumming it up with Craig and all the other ones. This isn't this doesn't look like a healthy environment. He's right, it doesn't look like a healthy environment. It looks like people are tired of hearing what they have to say. It wasn't great because of who I had with me on that video. Oh, I have a video on this guy, but it wasn't great with who you had. Who did you have on? Was it anyway, who was it? Which anti-woker?
Anybody out there trying to cope with this saying this is a good idea? It's not. All this proves is that you need an echo chamber. Mm-hmm. These are the guys that say they don't want to live in an echo chamber. This is quite literally what an echo chamber is.
To tell everybody what's actually going on. When Critical Drinker makes a viral tweet, we're going to write an article about it. When Ryan says something controversial, we're going to not be able to defend it, but we're going to stand with him.
See what I'm saying? It's an echo chamber.
Yeah, it's literally we're literally going to just talk about our friends and the people in our space.
Everyone out there who has defended these guys and said everyone else is living in an echo chamber, welcome to the echo chamber. It doesn't get like this example is so perfect. This is a perfect example of an echo chamber. They are creating articles themselves that they will then read on a video that will get cycled back into the algorithm and then fed back into their article. This is shocking to me that anybody would think that this is good. This is not good, everyone. Again, I'll explain why in a moment.
When we have meetups, when there are things going on, geeksandgamers.com is going to be the place where you have all of your information right there. And I'm really excited about that.
All of the information that you want to hear right there. Everyone has their own echo chambers, left and right. It's funny. Yeah, agreed. Most people don't step out of their echo chambers. I won't say everybody, though. I've met quite a few people who are in definitely differing opinions than I am on a lot of things. So there are people out there. They're just far and few between.
With that, we have another announcement.
Yes, even the middle has an echo chamber.
Joining forces with Criticless. Now, if you don't know what Criticless is essentially a Rotten Tomatoes / Letterboxd alternative.
Look, there's nothing wrong with having alternative. Let me explain to you what this means now. Now they're combining their content with that park place, so they have articles that they can read from. Now they have their own Rotten Tomatoes to create scores to put into those articles to read from. That's what's happening. So anytime their little idiot minions go to their videos, they're going to be like, oh, well, actually, Criticless said, like, this is what this is. So Rotten Tomatoes is no longer catering to them. They can't use those scores because the scores are contrary to what they're saying. They can't use articles because the articles out there that are talking about Hollywood or whatever, they're slowing down. They're slowing down. We're seeing that there's not a lot happening in Hollywood right now in terms of stuff they can go after. So that's slowing down. There's not a lot of TV shows for them to talk about. So in order for them to create.
Yeah, I agree, Red Stain. Most of the times these don't work out. Well, the problem with alternatives that a lot of people run into is the alternative is for a very specific group. Right? It's not an alternative that's going to tell the truth. It's an alternative that's going to tell the side of the story that I think we should hear. And the vast majority usually don't fall in line with that. People want to believe that something is unbiased, right? Yeah, look at the Craig's Game Awards, where it was completely based off of people who paid to vote for these games. They didn't want to, they wanted the industry to be, I don't know. They wanted it to be fair, but there is no way to make it fair, right? You can call the Game Awards shit. I have no problem with that. But how is your alternative going to actually be fair? And we saw how that went. 99% of the time, it fails every time.
Scores for them to go after. They're going to use Criticless scores because they can manipulate them. None of this is above reproach.
Broke is dead.
Now we have a aggregate site for scoring, a site that writes articles, all combined together with a chud outlet channel on YouTube. They're just literally going to create their own stories. No longer are we going to see stuff where people are actually talking about things that are happening outside of the space. This space is going to become a niche echo chamber. This is signaling the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it's going to be the thing. Yeah, it's going to become a very niche. I stuttered on my words there, man. A very niche echo chamber. Like as they shrink and shrink, as they don't have anything new to come up with, as the stuff becomes less and less viral, less and less people are going to go to them. You're basically signing your own death warrant, right? Seems like DJ Eric is just parroting the Three Birdman's video. Did Birdman do one on this same thing? Probably. But I mean, what else are you going to say about that? I think anybody who is watching this happen would agree that this is not a good look for any of them, except for them, right? Except for them. They're going to state that it's somehow a good thing, that they're growing because of it, which it's fake inflation for Geeks and Gamers, since that Park Place is going away, I'm guessing.
And I'll talk more about that in a second.
You can go over there, review movies, make lists, all of that. There is an average score over there. There's an app on Android and Apple. The app works fantastic. Here's the website right here.
Yes, it's your Feed the Pig section. Okay, I'll look at it.
Look at it. It looks awful.
You go over here, you can have your own profile. There's my profile right there. It houses all your reviews.
This screams Raid Shadow Legends. This is what this screams. Join my clan now.
Not wrong.
Shadow Legends. Join my clan now and get 5 champions for free, and then you can play with me. Newsflash, you can't. Raid Shadow Legends.
And you can go see what other people list they've done. We've had communities over there, and the site works really good, and the app works really, really good. So we're excited about
That's
that.
what someone who owns the app would say.
We are now officially partnered with Ripa Send for all of
who? Ripa? Who is Ripa? Is that the hold on, is that the magazine guy? Is that the magazine guy? Yellowfish or Yellow Flash or whatever he calls himself?
It's a spiral here. This is not good, everyone. Let's get through this. I can't wait to talk about this.
Merch.
Yeah.
That is live right now, and we have new merch right there.
Oh, Yellowfish works for the Ripaverse. Gotcha. Yeah, I feel bad for him too, man, because if they hadn't gone down this path, maybe some of them could have had a decent career to keep going. I mean, personally, I don't think anyone has a long lifespan unless you absolutely make it big in the space. Like you have to be big enough not to fail, kind of big, right? And other than that, I don't think anyone really has a long place. But I feel like these guys have burned out quicker than most.
We have the Cobra Cast one. We have the online original. We have the iDot. We have the Geeks and Gamers hat. So go over there, check it out. Links are going to be there, but you can also find that directly through the website here. All of the stuff up here.
All right, let's talk about this. So
I should have probably just pulled up this.
Geeks and Gamers obviously having trouble.
I worked with Yellowfish. Gotcha.
Issues. That Park Place clearly not getting the views and the stuff that they were getting before. Criticless, a really bad Rotten Tomatoes knockoff, which doesn't matter if they have 100 people on there or 1,000 people on there. It doesn't matter. The scores are no longer now that it's combined with Geeks and Gamers. You can't take any of that seriously at this point. What this is to me, outside of the Ripison stuff, I don't care that they're selling merch.
It's funny, a big thing that the anti-wokers talked about, right? And I had some agreements with this, even in the Gamergate 1 days, is that, access media and all of this idea of you can't go, you only know what they tell you because access media and the reviews you can't believe because they're being nice because they want to keep getting access to the games for their stuff. And I think there are some agreements there, but this is the exact same thing on a smaller scale. In fact, it's a more hardcore version of that same thing. You are controlling all of the narrative, and anyone who is not in your bubble is not allowed in. You want the fans to come in for some reason. Like, what are they going to come in for when everything's told through the same lens and the same story? But it's a small microcosm of of what we see in, like, or what people see in the journalistic gaming journalism scene.
Through the Ripaverse is another dying thing. But what this shows me is that they are all scrambling to stay afloat, and they are combining their audience. In hopes to keep themselves above water for a little while longer. Businesses that are doing well don't all just bundle together like that. Companies don't just partner up like this. This is a pretty major partnership. Like the Geeks and Gamers website and Park Place combining together to create news. It's a pretty big red flag. Criticless having to use Geeks and Gamers, which, by the way, maybe Criticless will benefit a little bit from this, but Geeks and Gamers desperately needs something they can look to and scores that they can use to manipulate their viewers. This is all bad. It is a really bad signal. The days of old white men screaming at clouds and being, you know, popular on YouTube are over. It's over. Here's the main Geeks and Gamers channel, the flagship channel. As I said before, they haven't uploaded over here in over a month. It's been longer than a month. Actually, it's almost been 2 months. This video here came out, I think, like the 20th or somewhere around the 20th of August. So it's been almost 2 months for this. Now, yes, they're still going live, but here's the thing. That means they are relying on super chats and memberships over YouTube's algorithm. They've given up on the YouTube algorithm. They've given up on it. It's not doing anything for them. So they're doing their live streams and they are collecting donations and super chats, and that's fine. Memberships, whatever, that's fine. But it doesn't look healthy for a channel of this size to just give up uploading videos. It doesn't pass the smell test. Now you might say, well, Eric, what about D-Day Cobra? All right, let's take a look at D-Day Cobra's channel and see what it looks like over there for him. All right, here we go. 170,000 subscribers. Oh, 6 months. He hasn't uploaded a video on his D-Day Cobra channel in 6 months. However, he does live stream over there, does live streams, but he doesn't upload videos anymore. This points to a very big problem for them. That is, the YouTube algorithm is no longer sustainable for these channels.
I did mute myself. What would I do without you guys? I know what I would do. I know what would happen. I would just be sitting here on mute talking to myself until I realized it. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I already said. It's is this guy not shooting at me? Okay. I was right. They're not, using the algorithm, which is something that I need to focus on my channel. I was seeing pretty good upward momentum, and then I really stopped cutting up my streams into segments, and I need to get back on that. But they're not. Yeah, they're only going on their streams because the vast majority of their money is coming from the fans that are still here. And the problem with that is people will not stay forever. Like, most people aren't going to stay locked in on a channel forever. You're going to move on. Your tastes are going to change. You get tired of seeing the same stuff. So yeah,
because the reason why they stopped uploading videos is because there's not a lot for them to talk about. Ryan Cannell scrapes the bottom of the barrel. We know what kind of content we're going to get from Ryan Cannell, but even that's not enough to sustain the Geeks and Gamers audience. Jeremy has to live stream a lot. If you look here, let's just take a look here. So he did a live stream here. Is this one with him in it? Is he actually in this live stream? I'm assuming it is this channel. He did a almost 4-hour live stream one day ago. And then you go over to the Geeks and Gamers channel, the flagship channel. And this is a live stream without him. Like, he's not even on this one. He's not even on this. Is he even on these live streams anymore? He's not even on these live streams anymore.
wow.
I mean, he has to live stream over on his second channel to keep the Geeks and Gamers brand alive. That's where we're at. What about Geeks and Gamers 2?
But here's the thing, like, all right, they're all consolidating so they can all get paid from the same audience, right? Here's the problem with that, like, you're just spreading, you're mixing the same pool of money together, very communist style, and then, you know, spreading it out evenly amongst the group. Probably not. So I guarantee you some people are going to get nixed. I wonder which ones are going to get nixed first.
Say, what about that channel? Well, over here, they are uploading videos on this channel, but the traction is awful. It's awful. Look, 3K views, 9K views, 6.5K views, 4.3K views. Even a video like this with 18K views. This isn't enough, everyone. You have to understand this ecosystem that they exist in requires them to have a lot of employees that work for them to keep all of this content rolling out. I would say, just based on speculation on what I know about YouTube and how the system works, the video output has slowed down because people have been fired. Again, this is speculation territory, but follow me on this. People that worked for Geeks and Gamers on the backside of it have been let go, and therefore the video output has slowed down. So we're only seeing certain things prioritized, the things that they control, the things that they're able to do, which is live streaming. Ryan Cannell probably edits his own videos. He might have someone helping him. So his channel is just him, and then when he jumps on and live streams for Geeks and Gamers. And he does, I think he live streams like once a week himself. Geeks and Gamers 2, by the way, Geeks and Gamers 2, this is the funny thing. I was looking over here.
Why do I have a
Used to be
okay.
a Geeks and Gamers girl channel. I didn't even know that.
Oh, wow.
Geeks and Gamers girls. And they rebranded it to Geeks and Gamers 2, as you can see. But yeah, this is a signal of the beginning of the end for these guys. You know, more and more evidence keeps coming out that these channels cannot stay afloat the way they are. They cannot sustain themselves this way. This is a big one. Wellness check complete. Prognosis is not good. 6 months to a year before we start to see some major changes. I don't think this little combo thing they're doing with that Park Place and Criticless, I don't think it's going to help the channel at all. I'm under the
I don't think so
full
either.
belief that it is just a scramble to retain some sort of income. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. As far as the Rippasin stuff, the Rippaverse has its own set of problems that we could talk about for another 30, 45 minutes in terms of like what's going on over there. But yeah, all of this is Cope stuff. Anybody who's acting like this is some big, huge thing, it's not. It's not a big deal. It is simply them struggling to stay afloat in a system where culture has changed and is actively working against them, and there's nothing they can do about it.
You can't prove that. You can't prove that. They're more successful than they've ever been. So a little bit, yeah, on that Geeks and Gamers. Whoa, what is this guy?
Part of the world's natural ecosystem.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Gay
Stuff up, man.
All right. So, what else do we have to watch today? Let me see if I can find that Birdman one. Because he tends to have differing, or he tends to have pretty. He's a little soy, but he has some decent takes. Jump to present. What is this? I mean, I'm not going to be able to find it. It's way back in here. I can look it up this way. Birdman. Did he do one on them? Exposing the grift. No, they don't have one about, or he doesn't have one about this combination yet. But he may have one that comes out. I mean, it's pretty nice. I don't know if Edgar's in there. That's funny. That's funny. Let's see here. So we got that one. Just kind of an easy slop day today. No, where are you? Where are you? I had one more. No, that's not what I picked. Oh, here it is. Here it is. There we go. This one came to me too. I believe it was Simon that sent this one to me. Boop. It's the Gen Z culture war problem. So I figured this would be funny to see, talking about the woke and the anti-woke. Pop back up. There we go. Let's see what this one has to say.
To Slip, having just admitted to creating the Ariala AI page, which was being used to promote and justify incest, whilst also showing support for his daddy-daughter dream team.
Well, that's the wrong video.
It was like a mutual sponsor. They were both. It was like sub for sub, except the other party.
Okay, that's enough. We'll get to that one right after this.
The world is becoming more and more divided. Last time, I talked about the divide between men and women in what some people call the gender war. But after reflecting on that video, I've come to realize that there's also a much larger battle happening at the same time. Gen Z is trapped in the middle of a culture war, where people are constantly fighting for little victories over each other all the time. And this isn't really a Gen Z. But I do think that the non-stop cultural warfare has been something uniquely haunting our young adult years. We're walking into a fight that we never started, but everyone is forcing us to pick a side. While we're still trying to figure out our lives, others are trying to convince us to blame our struggles on someone.
Too bad. Too bad. Get in the fight, bud. In the trenches.
But before we continue, Raid Shadow Legends is back, and this time they're teaming up with Paramount for their new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collab. Raid is a cross-platform game with a ton of content, and they keep adding more. From now until November 13th, you can get all 6 new TMNT champions, starting with Michelangelo.
Thank you.
Now, back to business. People are dissatisfied with the way life is currently, and they want things to change, but they don't exactly know what's causing these problems. So instead, they pick scapegoats to blame things on. It's easy to look at something and say, if this thing wasn't in my life, things would be better. For some people, those things are minorities, immigrants, women, and other marginalized groups. And for others, they're figures like politicians or media personalities. So on both sides, they celebrate when these so-called threats are removed. Some would even prefer if by force, in order to send some kind of message. However, the target is ever changing. The solutions to our problems are far more complex than simply removing a person or a group of people. So we remain satisfied with the way things are going. We constantly feel like we're under attack and use that as justification to attack others. That's what this culture war is. As Gen Z continues to grow up, we're facing our own set of challenges that don't always seem fair to us. Despite being a generation with more education and resources than those before us, many of us are struggling just to find our footing in the adult world. Jobs won't hire us, but then complain that our generation is lazy and doesn't want to work. Money is tight, but bills
These are true.
And on top of it all, we're lonely and sad because men and women can't get along. It feels like no matter what you do,
we were just having the talk about the men and the women, at least a little bit. Q showed a little article, or I guess a little Instagram post talking about like women saying how they don't feel like the dating pool is going on. And this isn't the first time I've seen a similar article like that, but it's like it really is a both sides thing where both sides are just like, it's so terrible. And I feel like the fix would just be get together and do something about it. Like, I feel like everyone's standards on what the female or what somebody should be are just so over stated that everything has to be exactly what I want. You don't grow together as people or anything else that you would do in an actual relationship.
Expectations for young adults only get higher. But at the same time, the opportunities are becoming more scarce. We're tired, frustrated, and angry. But no one out there is looking for solutions. They just want new soldiers to help fight for their cause. And the young Gen Z mind is the newest weapon in the culture war. Man, this sucks. I got ghosted by my date and rejected from my dream job all in the same week. When are things gonna get better? What now? Listen, I already told you I'd have the rent by... Who are you? Oh, well, I'm Chad Tradington. And it sounds like you're tired of the status quo and you want things to change. Well, yeah, I do. Can you really help? Of course. I'm here with all the answers to your problems. Well, I got stood up on a date this week. Do you know why dating is so hard these days? Well, it's that darn feminism. Really? I thought women's rights were a good thing. Of course not. Women making their own decisions is never good. That's why we used to not let them vote. I guess that really makes sense when I don't think about it. Do you know why it's so hard to find a job too? Well, that's because of diversity. They're giving all the jobs to black people. Really? Is that true? Who cares? Everyone knows all black people are lazy and unqualified. That's why they need DEI. Well, I have no way of challenging that statement, so it must be true. Exactly. Now let me tell you about immigrants. For Gen Z, a lot of us did what we were supposed to do, but we don't feel like we're where we're supposed to be. So we're left sitting here confused and searching for answers. Gen Z didn't start the culture war, but we've inherited it. We grew up and suddenly found ourselves in the middle of an ongoing...
The thing is, though, one thing to think about when you're talking about this, the culture war idea, especially, you know, the righty points that he's bringing up now, I'm sure he'll bring up the left side points, is none of these are new arguments. Like most of the things about stuff being too expensive and, you know, immigrants taking your jobs or things like that have been part of the issues people argue back and forth on for generations. It's usually there's some other problem that's involved with like the world, whether it's jobs, whether it's corporations being shit, something like that. But what happens is that politicians and corporations find an enemy for people to latch over, or even people sometimes will find an enemy to latch over. You hear a politician say, all these immigrants are coming in and taking your jobs. Yeah, you just said it as I was saying it, Vincent. I mean, that's been around forever. You know, you go all the way back to like the founding of America and things like that. When they started shuttling, you know, the big immigration people coming over and us being the melting pot, Irish were hated as immigrants. My wife's family who came over, you know, a couple generations back, like great grandfather or something like that, were indentured slaves in those things, working until, you know, you've paid off what you owe. You're going to do what we say until we pay off what you owe. So these aren't new subjects. I think one thing that's different about this day and age is it is so loud. There's the internet that everyone can talk to each other at the same time, but now they're talking about the same things they used to talk about in their small groups. And then you add anonymity into that, and people tend to be more visceral when they know people don't know it's them, right? It's just kind of the way of things. So I don't know, like, you could say it's getting heated, but we've had other political times where it's gotten just as heated. But the issues are the same issues, period.
Going battle. We don't even know who we're supposed to be fighting or what we're fighting about. When I was reflecting on the gender war, I realized that for a lot of younger Gen Z guys, when it comes to women, they don't even know where the hostility comes from. They just know that they grew up and suddenly all the girls hated the guys. You're confused and hurt because you're getting attacked in a fight that you didn't start. And that's the thing about the culture war. Because we're fighting battles we have no actual stake in, everyone feels like a victim in some way. You don't know how you ended up in the battle, but you know you need to defend yourself. And yet these people in the culture war aren't interested in offering us solutions. Instead, they want you
True.
to feel like you're constantly under.
Well, I hate to tell you, solutions don't make money, right? Solutions don't win elections. Problems win elections.
So they can justify sending hate in the other direction because they came for you first. So why wouldn't you retaliate? You're only defending yourself. There's this weird selective outrage where the same people who endorse something one day turn around and condemn it the next. People will attack you and then blame you for hitting back. We go back and forth with each other every day and then pretend like we don't know who threw the first punch. So when bad things happen, we get to point our fingers and say, our side would never do this. When in fact, your side has indeed done that too. Culture warriors don't have values or principles.
Well, I think the big thing is, and it's never going to happen. As much as I would love for it to happen, it's never going to happen. People need to stop being sides cucked. You need to look at your values and figure out where they align and worry about your values and your smaller community values. Not get in bed with a president. Well, he's or she's at least saying some of the right things. So I'm okay with them doing this or that. I'm okay with them putting people in camps because, you know, the immigrants are causing problems. Would I normally do it? No. Was it bad when other countries did it in the past? Yeah, but we're getting our country back.
Instead, they try to score moral victories over people by constantly contradicting themselves and moving the goalpost. It's mentally exhausting because you feel like you're being gaslit.
And then you get to this point where people will just say you're moving the goalpost with no real understanding of what moving the goalpost is.
It's obvious to anyone where the inconsistencies are, but the burden of proof is on those willing to call it out. And even when you throw their own words back at them, they just lie about it anyway. I've noticed a big part of the culture war involves being a contrarian. People will take the side of something insane just because they don't want to agree with you or admit that you're right. Someone could say, I support helping blind old ladies cross the street. And some random guy will be like, well, I support hitting blind old ladies with buses. What? Why would you support something like that? Because it's not fair. Why should blind old ladies get special treatment? Because they're blind and old. Well, I don't agree with you. Okay, well, even if you don't agree with me, why would you support something that's actively trying to harm them? Well, I don't really agree with hitting them with buses. I think helping them cross the street is actually a good thing. Okay, so why not just say that? Because then I will have to admit that I'm wrong. And I can never be wrong. Why not? Everyone's wrong sometimes. Because it's bad for my ego. Seriously? Gen Z as a generation has grown up in a more progressive climate. Since we were kids, we've been taught things like smoking is bad. Men and women should be equal. Don't be racist. And I think for the most part, we all agree on these things. At least we used to. But in recent years, there's been a growing...
I mean, classrooms have been teaching like those topics far longer than just the Gen Z trend, right? Most people would agree with the majority of that, right? The people who are loudest tend to not be the majority of people, right? Not a lot of people are going, you know what, women shouldn't have rights anymore. Making them voting is giving them the right to vote was just a huge mistake. I mean, and that will get inflated by other people when someone makes a joke. Like I've made a joke like that before, you know, like something happens and I'm like, man, why did we give women the right to vote? You could joke about it, but then there becomes this problem where people start taking that seriously. Even then, like I said, it's still not the majority.
Number of people who want you.
You grew up in a moderate time. I mean, for me, it was a fairly moderate time, right? I'm trying to think of, like, I knew racist people, but that wasn't the vast majority. Like, you know, gays weren't getting beat in the streets. They're still not getting beat in the streets. There's not, you know, we're not talking about the Jim Crow era is not around anymore. The vast majority of people are fairly, I guess, progressive, if you want to say that, in the way they look at people, right? You go to anything outside of the internet, and black and white and Chinese and everything else are talking to each other. The only person who's not is that one weirdo, right? That one weirdo.
You see this kind of progress as a threat. They want you to see equality as injustice and inclusion as replacement. We aren't adding more seats to the table. We're kicking people out to make more room. And they want you to think that if you don't kick others out first, you'll be the one left standing on the outside. I think it's ironic that we often complain about boomers being a selfish generation that only look out for themselves, while we're watching ourselves do the same as we fight for what's left. The culture war never ends because you're forced to make an enemy out of everyone. Now that we're the adults, even children are under attack as people debate the value of their lives against the cost of their ideals. We're more interested in running defense for the people doing the harm instead of protecting the ones being harmed. People have unlimited excuses for why the people they support didn't actually mean what they said, but offer zero compassion for the people who challenge them. You feel powerless sometimes because no one takes
What do you say there?
Because you're still young, and you can't even rely on the people you vote for to do the right thing anymore.
Again, that's
the government itself.
Okay, people thinking you're too young. That's an issue you're gonna live with your entire life. It's been that way since the dawn of time. Hey, kid, you don't know the world yet.
Didn't actually mean what they said, but offer zero compassion.
We should take the guns out to make more room then. Okay, that's a silly comment, but sure.
Sometimes because no one takes you seriously because you're still young, and you can't even rely on the people you vote for to do the right thing anymore. Even the government itself has turned into
that's called politics, baby.
another theater for the culture war. Seems like no matter who I vote for, nothing changes. What's even the point? Hey there, young man. I'm running for office and I'd like your vote. What are some things you'd like to see in this country? Well, I'd like to be able to afford groceries and to go to the doctor too. Everything is so expensive now. Okay, so what I'm hearing is you want to get rid of all the immigrants. What? No, that's not what I said.
True.
You want us to ban gay people. No. Look, can you just do something about the prices? I'm late on rent almost every month. Okay, if you vote for me, I'll promise to lower prices. Thank you. And we're gonna throw 100 kittens into a wood chipper. What?
Based, I'm voting.
The libs. Okay, I don't want lower prices if you're gonna throw 100 kittens into a wood chipper. But the woke left is gonna be so mad when we do it. Yeah, because that's bad for everybody. Exactly. That's why we need a woman in office. Wouldn't you agree, young man? I mean, yeah, that would be great, but I'm really struggling just to make ends meet on my own. Can you help? In our time of need, our country needs its leaders.
No, kitty.
Do what we do best. Absolutely nothing. Do either of you have any real policies? Young man, I can tell your issues are very important to you, which is why I promise to dedicate $20 billion. Really? To the military. Come on. I try to keep my personal politics out of my videos. So much.
What about the woke right? Yeah. I mean, it's definitely one-sided on it, because you could turn this around on woke and what issues are, because most people on both sides, it comes down to the same thing: food, housing, education for your kids, even healthcare. A lot of it is the disagreements on semantics. Like, there are people who believe we shouldn't have free healthcare, that it'll bog up the system, and that's why you need to have private healthcares, but our private healthcare system sucks. The worst thing that come out of the Obama administration was the Healthcare Act. And yeah, it's the same game over and over and over again. The stakes don't change, but what happens is the politicians find a new enemy to get votes off of, right?
People think I'm a centrist, but I'm not. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm pretty left-wing on just about everything. So yeah, I'm woke. A lot of people have the idea that seeing both sides of every issue is automatically a good thing. One person could be like, we should throw 100 kittens into a wood chipper. And another could be like, actually, we shouldn't. And the enlightened centrist will be like, yeah, bro, low-key, both sides are valid. It's okay.
No.
Life to be able to stand up and say,
But that's generally not even the point. Like, they can think your way is shit, their way is shit, and they have another way, right? No one's saying that when Trump put all of the, like, I don't think anyone in the center, well, there probably were people in the center that are leaning more right, said that when they're putting people in camps that that's a good thing, right? There's not an enlightened centrist that's like, well, I see both sides. No, you're going to have your own ideals. And that can be, it's based off of the individual things that are happening, right? Some of them are going to be more extreme ideals when you come to like the gays with Christianity. I, as a Christian, don't believe in that ideal of getting rid of gay marriage and all those other things. I think one thing I think is Christianity being involved in politics, it goes against the very ideals of Christianity to begin with. We're not supposed to be part of it. We're supposed to worry about our connection with God and everything else. You talk about the separation of church and state. But now that we're off that mess, it's like, people like to say the enlightened centrist because they believe that's what it is. No, it's normally a centrist will have different views on different things. Does that make them enlightened? No, they're just as many retards in the middle as there are on the right and left. They may hate both of your sides, or they may like this side at one point or this side at another. If you want to call fence sitting people, there are people who fence sit on subjects because they don't want to give an opinion, but that's not the same thing as being in the middle.
hey, I think this is wrong. I know the culture war constantly forces us to pick sides, but they say if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. I just find it a bit annoying when people sit on the fence in the face of something obviously wrong. On one hand, you could have a burger. Sure, it has tomatoes and pickles that you don't like, but maybe you could just pick them off and still enjoy the burger. And on the other, you have a poop sandwich with pea sauce. And some people would still look at both of those options and go, yeah, both of these are equally bad. It's important to keep an open mind and see things from a different perspective. But you don't need to try to poop sandwich just to see how it tastes. I don't like to
I would need to see examples of people eating a poop sandwich and the other one, like saying that they're both. In the end, you eventually have to make a choice. And sometimes that choice means I'm going to step out of it because I think both of you retarded and let y'all fight for it.
Because I feel like it distracts from my message. I've noticed that when you bring up politics, people start arguing against what they think you believe instead of actually listening to the words you say.
True.
I have a degree in world politics, so I know a lot more than I tend to talk about. I spent a lot of time debating people in college, but I don't really do that anymore. Mainly because I don't find it productive. I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I've noticed that the people who like to debate the most tend to know the least.
Chesterson's fence is the principle that reforms should not be made until the reasoning behind the existing state of affairs is understood. True, yes.
I think that if you're someone who truly does understand the situation we're in as a generation, you're more concerned with finding solutions rather than proving yourself right. In college, when I was in student government, other more conservative students would sometimes come to me and say, hey, I want to work with you to make this campus more inclusive. Because even though I think a certain way, I can see that things around here aren't fair for everyone. And instead of arguing about which one of us is right, I'd rather work together to be a part of the solution. And I was like, bet. But as people have continued to turn up the heat in this culture war, we've lost the opportunity to do that. And I'm saying opportunity, not ability, because we are still able to work together. But with the culture war constantly making enemies out of our own neighbors, there isn't really room to do so right now. People like to say, if you disagree with them, you can just debate them. But nowadays, it's almost impossible to meaningfully engage with the other side. Many people are dishonest and just want to attack you under the guise of a debate.
Yeah, the problem is there's a lot of debates nowadays turn into like gotcha moments where I have this thing that I'm hiding down to the side, so I'm going to use this at the right moment to, discredit you. So yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with him on that.
Interested in understanding your perspective. Instead, they're more concerned with trying to turn you into another enemy. At one debate in college, someone in the audience called me the N-word. My other two panelists also believe the same things I believe. But since I was the only black person on stage, I was the only one attacked because of my race. People shouldn't be attacked physically for their beliefs, but attacking someone's identity because you disagree with them isn't right either. People go out of their way to antagonize others, but then play the victim.
Yes, gotcha moments are very dumb.
In the same way. It's not very productive when your idea of a debate is going around trying to convince everyone else that they're the problem. Good afternoon, fellas. How we doing? I'm all right. What's going on?
Here we go.
Well, we're just out here trying to have a little respectful debate about the important issues of our time. Care to join us? Sounds interesting. What are we debating? Black people are terrible and we should just get rid of them. Yeah, I'm not doing this. Good luck, bro. We got another triggered liberal. Don't you guys think that sounds a little, I don't know, racist? Not at all. We believe God created us all equally. Yeah, we just think that black people and white people should be separate. Not that they should be treated any less. Okay, I see. You're saying that black people and white people should be separate.
What's funny about this argument too is loaded questions. That's what they're generally going for. This one's a little on the extreme side, but this specific instance I always think is funny because the wokes had the exact same idea on college campuses. Like it was the exact, like both people were talking segregation at one point when they wanted their own campus dormitories to themselves where only black people went to. They wanted only black rooms where they could go to get away. You know, there were those things that happened. And it's that thing he was talking about earlier, both sides having the same bad argument.
But equal. Exactly. But people keep calling us racist for some reason. Yeah, I can't imagine why. You know,
the problem with a lot of these debates that they do is they're loading the question and they have all the information, or at least they have all the information that no one else can look up. Like a lot of these I remember seeing in the beginning had to deal with, especially talking about like the black people on campus and stuff like that, was usually crime statistics. But statistics can be used in the wrong way, right? Just because the higher percentage of black people commit crimes, you know, whatever that thing is, doesn't mean that that's what the statistic is telling you. It's not like a genetic, there's no proof it would be a genetic thing that happens. It's more than likely dealing with, like from my personal view, is you more likely due to the fact that African Americans do make up a large portion of the disenfranchised group. So they're poor on average, and people who are poor tend to commit more crimes. You could probably look into it deeper. But like I said, the people there that when you have a normal debate between people, and I've never been a debate, college debate bro or anything like that, but when you have a normal debate, both people know about the subject ahead of time. They can go look up their arguments, and then they bring all that information in together and they talk about it. That's how it generally a debate would work, But with this side, they're out on the front lines with a loaded question, and they have all the information that they say is going to prove it. And then they're arguing with people who aren't in the know of this subject that they're talking about, that they haven't had time to study. They haven't done any of that. I used to think it was funny, and I still think some of them are. There's some funny memes that came out of them. When you look deeper at that type of debate, it's not any good. Like it's not a good way to debate. It's not on the same ground. You're purposely doing it because you're going to be able to make some of these younger people mad. My theory of low-hanging fruit. That's a good way to put it when it comes up to it. Speaking of college, I'm hoping my spring semester goes well. I hope it does too, bud. I hope it does too. It's not always I don't think every college campus is like this. I think a lot of it tends to be around the major ones, right?
Actually tried that before. Really? How did it go? Yeah, some guy named Martin came along and ruined it. Well, he sounds like an awful person. Yeah, can't believe people keep calling you guys racist. The problem with the
just 2 classes left. That's right.
Complaining all day, but never put any real action behind it. And that goes even for people I personally agree with. In college, I was a member of the Young Democrats, and our weekly meetings used to be packed with students coming to discuss the issues that were important to us. But we also wanted to be a group that was willing to put action behind our words too. And it's not like they were asking people to go start the revolution tomorrow.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Hey guys, this week we talked about food insecurity. So this weekend we're gonna...
So I completely read that wrong. You have 2 classes left until your major? That's pretty cool. I was a dropout.
I'm gonna go volunteer at the food bank to help feed people in the community. However, most of the time, it was the same handful of people showing up to volunteer. And I understand that when you're a college student, your number one focus is school. It's not like I was always there either. But at what point are you gonna make the things you say you care about a priority?
I think most of them tend to be fairly moderate. That, like you said, it ends up being the more high traffic areas. Like a lot of the issues and stuff like that you see and talk about are in larger larger gathering cities and stuff like that we see a lot of this cultural war stuff happening. You go down to like where I live, which is a city, and it has city problems, but we're not having the same thing going on, right? I don't walk down the street in fear of something happening or something in my life going wrong or something along those lines. It's a very loud subject online and not so loud in other places.
At least just once or twice. As someone on the left, I think sometimes we're a bit out of touch with what the things we believe in look like in reality.
True.
Many of us are young, and that makes organizing difficult.
English and creative writing, nice.
Often contained to online spaces. And while it's great to use our social media presence to keep the conversation going, sometimes we lose sight of our real world goals and start aggressively policing everything in the name of inclusivity. That's called virtue signaling, and ironically, often makes things less inclusive. We all know that one person who's too woke. I've seen it online where people make an enemy out of someone who's genuinely on their side. People were attacking public defense attorneys for doing their job of defending people in court. You can't claim to be for a more equitable society while not understanding the importance of due process. And that's the issue. We want to seem like a good person online while lacking true commitment to the cause. And people on the other side cling to that and use it to discredit you. But I get it. I didn't always have the beliefs that I do now. I'm from the South. My friends used to call me GOP Will because I used to have some pretty conservative beliefs. But then I got hit with the woke mind virus. I'm joking. I was actually patient zero. But as I got older and became more progressive, I had people willing to educate me instead of attacking me because I wasn't woke enough yet. We shouldn't make enemies out of the people who are on the same side as us. If there's one thing I've learned, is that things like misogyny, racism, and homophobia don't belong to a single side. There are people who know how to say all of the right things and still act hateful towards you. And likewise, there are those who might still be learning that don't deserve your hostility. It's important to have principles, but it's also important to understand what making a difference actually looks like too. Recently, there's been a lot of people claiming
or you and me don't come across as good people online, but it could be worse. We could be Simon. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, I think I'm a much nicer person in person and when people speak to me than some of the things that I get into on like X and stuff like that. But what are you going to do, right?
that Gen Z is shifting to the right, especially the men. But if I can be honest, I don't think this is fully the case. I think Gen Z as a whole is a generation that desires change. The split lies in which direction to go. I think growing up in a more progressive era and then ending up in the situation we're in now, some of us have a desire to return to a simpler time. When I talk to other
yeah, he definitely lives in a different environment.
The biggest emotion I get from them isn't hate or even anger, it's fear. They're afraid of the hostility they get from women. They're afraid of being attacked because they made a mistake. They're afraid of losing everything they've worked for because they did something wrong. Everything feels so serious these days, and we should take ourselves and our issues seriously. But I think the shift to the right isn't really 20-year-olds adopting the ideals of their parents. We live in a different world now. Instead, I think some people just want to relax. Even the research shows that it's hard to accurately report on the politics of our generation because so many of us self-censor how we truly feel. I genuinely believe that most of us do support things like inclusion and equality. The average Zoomer is more aware of people's cultural sensitivities than the older generations.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, most people live their day-to-day lives. They deal with, they communicate with people of all different groups. Yeah, you will have people like I have racist family, I still love them, but they're they're definitely in the old ways sometimes. And they say silly things and you're just like, that's just not the way it is. But all in all, most people just get along and try and do things. Like you can talk about like the political upheaval going on right now with what's going on with Trump and things like that. And I think that's a little bit precedented in the way that he's aggressively going over policies. But other than that, I was talking to an IRL friend about some of the crap I got into recently. Yeah. Well, me and my buddies who were all very right wing at the beginning of us joining the military, became very libertarian during our time in the military. We're talking about like how some of us our views have changed, how we're very virulently against like the kind of like MAGA ideals and things like this stuff that like, and it's been happening for a while where you've got this group, the MAGA group that has come up, and they are very far to the right, and anyone who's not as far right as them gets pushed off as being a lefty. Same thing happens with the very progressive side of the left. I mean, you look at like the rise of the woke movement and people like Joe Rogan, who were very liberal in their views, got pushed off as being right, and is now like touted as the right media's main podcast. So too much political correctness from both sides can be stressful. Oh, 100%. When you're trying to, most people don't want to, and we're going to get into some little bit of trans stuff and my trans beliefs. You look at something like the trans idea of misgendering, right? Most people are going, when you talk about like a transgendered person, aren't going to try and be polite, or aren't going to try and not be polite, right? They're not going to call someone a man or a woman to their face. But generally what's going to happen is you're going to use your eyes, and your brain is going to say, okay, that's a guy, say sir or ma'am. But then it's seen as disrespectful. And I've had this argument with my sister-in-law on the subject. And I very much, if you've heard me talk, I have no problem with trans people. But yeah, the human mind isn't going to just change like that. And I don't think anyone should have to do a deep dive into the person that they're talking to outside of, it's ma'am. Then you end up with moments like it's ma'am. Outside of like you getting to know somebody. Like I don't care about, 99.9% of probably the trans community. But if I'm talking with someone who's trans and they give me their pronouns, I'm going to use it. Most people probably are in public. Even old Shapiro himself said, he would use someone's pronouns for them in private when he was talking with them, but a lot of it was his show of going against it. Same thing can go with anything else in here, right? You're going to have your beliefs and you're going to have things like that, but like the microtransgressions that used to come around where like you're racist just because you are, and in different moments like that is like, really? Is this what we're doing? Is this what it is? It ends up causing more problems and differentiating between, like, separating people, when really we all really want the same thing. We all want good lives. We all want healthy kids, smart kids. It's the politicians that we should be going after.
Because some of us have questions.
all of them.
About those things or a different perspective, we live in fear of being judged. I've seen people get attacked for simply asking a question. However, there are a lot of bad actors, and these people take this desire for simplicity and turn it into prejudice. Men in particular are starting to feel like outcasts in their own communities.
True.
There's an idea that men are no longer necessary in society and thus should be ignored. We've grown up seeing an expansion of privileges for many different groups, more opportunities for this group, greater protections for that group. And what I hear from other men is that they feel like they're falling behind in school, in the job market, even in their social circles. So when the conversation seems like it includes everyone but you.
What about micro wokeism? I don't hear people being AZ talking about those.
Many guys are willing to overlook the bad if it means they get some good. When it feels like nobody keeps a seat open for you at the table, some people end up sitting with the wrong crowd. I'm not making excuses for the bad behavior that comes from the worst of these groups. I think there are already enough people whitewashing the harm being done by these people. And that's another issue. Just like I said, there are people on the left who are out of touch with what they truly believe. The same goes for the right. There are a lot
agree with that.
out there who are completely disconnected from the type of person they are.
Oh, is that heels versus babyface? Yeah.
It's allowed Gen Z to be strung along into ideas they don't.
Micro wokeism. Did he bring up? Hold on. Now I need you to find me a video on micro wokeism that babyface talked about. I thought you were talking about something completely different that hit my mind.
Enemy, that they are your only ally. They promise you their ideals without showing you their weapons. So you go to war for them, thinking that they're the good guys. They've silenced their weapons with good intentions, so you can't hear the hate in their words. You defend them, not realizing that they're only pushing you further from your peers. You're more concerned about supporting your argument than your character as a person. Hey man, you should.
Oh, it's a term you coined. Okay.
Well, I was here first. I'm not going anywhere. If the kids don't like it, they can leave. Yeah, but you're smoking at a playground. This is supposed to be a safe space for kids to play, and you're doing something that can harm them. Well, it's the children's fault for playing where I want to smoke. Why should I have to move for them? But you can smoke anywhere in the park. The kids can only play right here. Then we need to ban kids from the park.
Pronouns.
Smoke in peace. So you'd rather ruin the fun for all of these children than move 10 feet away so everyone can be happy? Exactly. Do you see yourself as a good person? Of course. Why do you ask? No reason. Like most things nowadays,
you could say this though. Like I'm gonna be a little bit on the other sides of this. We're gonna go to defend the righties now. You can say this exact same thing about the other side and their extremes. There are people who have made their beds with people who want to do awful things so that they can get the right side of it. I'm trying to think of some of them now. Like a lot of the stuff around the schools and the younger trans idea, just bringing it in. A lot of the lies of the trans medical stuff, saying that, these people were going to absolutely kill themselves if they didn't get surgeries, that kids were going to start dying in droves. These were things that more liberal people went to bat with and ended up getting burned on as well. So it's a it's a both sides problem. It's just the way it is. It's become so like the micro aggressive extremist groups have become so loud that people think that they have the power to do what we need them to do, right? So they get into bed with people that end up being awful.
Culture war takes place on social media. And social media is only a caricature of reality. The worst parts are exaggerated and the normal parts are minimized.
It is a very complicated issue.
For Gen Z, most of us have become reliant on social media as a genuine source of information. I have people honestly telling me that they got radicalized by triggered SJW compilations on YouTube. Like, seriously? An internet meme radicalized you. Even the mainstream news is providing coverage based.
Well, yeah, I hate to tell you, but like the vast majority of the human population is pretty fucking dumb.
Posts you see online. And like a caricature, this leads to people developing a very distorted and misinformed worldview. Since Gen Z is getting their information from the internet, that gives content creators a great deal of influence over the way we think. It shouldn't, but it does.
I miss the SJW term too, because I think it fits so well with some of the anti-wokes that we're seeing, because they're the new social justice warriors fighting for their justice against black people or women, or wanting hot women only in games, no ugly women allowed, or I don't know at this point.
Often look to the creators they admire to not only reaffirm their personal beliefs, but also make sense of the world around them. And this makes content creators some of the biggest agents in the culture war. Although I hope we can all agree that we shouldn't be getting our opinions from people on the internet, I think we value the authenticity.
I think you should all get your opinions from me. Just everyone come in. I have the only right opinion. I'll tell you exactly what you want to know.
Perspective on things. The problem, though, is that many content creators also continue to feed into the culture war.
Oh, I wonder who that
A lot
is.
of creators who used to simply cover things like video games, anime, and entertainment have more recently pivoted into covering politics on their respective platforms, introducing their audiences to more of their personal beliefs through their content. So much so that even when they
I don't agree with that statement. I don't think it's actually their personal beliefs. I think it's their clique beliefs. Like it's what they see their audience saying they like, so they'll talk that way. Because look at Asmongold now. He's in this turnaround where he's wanting to be part of the social justice warriors, but Ghost of Tsushima is actually good, and the culture war righties are a problem. So it's very audience captured, and then realizing, oh, I think I've gone too far, and wanting to self-correct. But like some people, you can't once you get into those really far sites.
turn to covering their usual subjects, their commentary keeps that political
There you go, Simon.
Times are hard, and we often look to our favorite creators for a break from our problems. But many of these creators are also trying to recruit you to their side of the culture war through.
Would it be accurate to say that that is their online persona for some? Oh, absolutely. I think honestly, I think everyone's playing some sort of character online, right? But yeah, it's become more a persona than any of their actual beliefs or anything like that.
Bad faith arguments, and mean-spirited commentary on everyone who has a different perspective or experience. I just feel like if all of your content is informed by you looking at tweets and Reddit posts, you probably don't have the most well-rounded perspective on the issues you choose to comment on.
True.
Like I said, social media is a caricature of reality. It's not the full picture. So when the only conversations you're having are the ones taking place online, it's no surprise that others see you as a misinformed grifter. Another thing is that it's an obvious echo chamber as well. You often see a lot of these same creators sharing audiences and reacting to and providing additional commentary on each other's content. And when one of them gets called out, they often run defense for each other as well. They're on the same team, and they want you to be on it too. And when you sit in these online echo chambers, you don't realize that most people don't think this way. But when you try to push back against them, they endlessly move the goalposts so that you always lose and they always win. And that's the problem with these people, chat. The other side is always making a big deal about minor issues. Nobody cares about the race and gender of a fictional character. They need to stop putting this woke agenda in our video games. Now, on to the real issues. Look at this character, chat. She's a minority and a woman. We should care about the race and gender of a fictional character. They're trying to erase us. Suddenly, representation is very important.
That's a pretty good call
It
out.
wouldn't be that much of an issue if these ideas stayed within these communities. But due to their large influence, their negativity is also affecting others. When you constantly tell your audience that the people they play video games with, watch anime with, and go to school with are their enemy, they go and create division in those spaces too. The same people who try to gatekeep their communities from tourists are often the same people who get offended when you try to stand up against them in your own community. Even our interests become a battleground for the culture war. I've also come to realize that between myself and these creators, our audiences have some overlap. And to be honest, this used to make me nervous. I rarely agree with these people on anything, but despite that, many people, regardless of their beliefs, also resonate with my content. And it's made me realize that I have a unique opportunity as a creator. I'm not here to tell you what to believe or who you should watch, but I have the chance to offer another perspective to the audience that we share. One that hopefully encourages a bit more empathy for those different from you. I used to feel powerless against all of the hate that I see online sometimes, like I had to just sit back and hope for the best. But I realized that if other creators can make videos offering their perspective, maybe I could do the same. It's been a year since I started making these videos talking about the Gen Z experience. And one thing I've learned is that across the world, we're probably more alike than we are different. I never expected that my videos talk
we're nothing like those Brits over there. Nothing like them.
As a Gen Z adult would be relatable to so many people. One of my biggest privileges as a creator has been interacting with people from all over the world. I remember one night I thought my Twitter was getting botted because I was suddenly getting a bunch of followers from China. But it was because someone re-uploaded my videos on Bilibili. Because even all the way in China, people are coping with being a Gen Z adult. Times are confusing, and we're all struggling in different ways with the same things. I don't make these videos to change anyone's mind or act like I have all of the answers. I don't. I just know that the direction we're going now isn't the way forward. I think that's something we can all agree on. The older generation started the culture war, but we don't have to be the ones to finish it. We don't need to keep endlessly fighting each other while the people with actual power continue to make our lives worse. Older people call us lazy for being tired of the problems they created, and we're often referred to as the worst generation. But
it's so funny because the Gen Z are saying the exact same thing that millennials were saying just a while ago. The older generations say that we're lazy, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. The older generation is saying that the Gen Z are lazy. This is just a generational fight that's happened and will probably happen until the end of time. Because no one remembers when they used to get called lazy by the same people, by their older generation, right? I was always better in the olden times. So yeah, this is just literally a mirror image of what I remember hearing growing up. Is, well, technically, I don't know if I fall under the millennial or there was like the in between. Those of us at like the beginning of the millennial period had this like weird thing where we weren't completely millennials because we still had the outdoor life before you know it is. We were in between on computers and things like that. Like we were the starters coming up in the computers.
But maybe that's a good thing. One thing
with the
that's
pewters
thrown around a lot in this culture war is this idea of good times create weak men and weak men create hard times. Personally,
yeah, that's dumb.
I think this is corny. You are not a Spartan, little bro. And I ask for no pickles.
Ain't none of these dudes a Spartan.
In violence.
Also, fun fact, Spartans were incredibly gay.
And there is no wisdom in war. We all lose the longer we continue to fight. Giving into the hate is weakness. And good times last when we choose to become better people. True strength lies in kindness, and real wisdom can be found in the desire to understand. Hate will never win.
And those bloody redcoats, tyrannical, tea-loving Brits.
I tell you that the solution to all of our problems is to just love each other either. The culture war is like mud, and there are people who dwell in the mud, and you'll always lose when you try to fight them on their home turf. Mud makes it really hard to move forward, so I think that if we avoid it, we'll get to where we're going a lot faster. Alone, our problems seem almost impossible to solve, but when we work together, the task becomes a lot more manageable. Just don't be someone who only receives help without reaching back and helping others too. We never asked to be in this situation, but whether it keeps getting worse is up to us. So remember, hate will never win. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter.
Not a bad video. Not a bad video. I mean, like I said, this is a lot of it is the same things that I've been hearing forever about my generations. Oh, look, they're killing each other again. These dudes have been at it. Makar and Cracks, they just absolutely hate each other. Let's see. Bio reputation. Hates Cracks, 88. Cracks is his rival. Oh my goodness, he hates a lot of people. This dude is all about the hate. What does Cracks have to say about him? He doesn't even hate him that much. It's all Makar. What the heck? Divided we fall. Other countries can take advantage of our division. Oh yeah, I mean, here's one thing is that when it comes to like the division thing, there are giant bot farms that are out there to try and sow division amongst countries. The US uses the same bot farms against other countries. Well, not the exact same, you know what I mean. Uses those bot farms against other countries. So it's out there. Like until we have an actual solution to bots, which I don't know if there is one, it's going to be a thing that is going to only get worse. And the dead internet theory looks like it's coming true more and more every day. Boom, boom, boom. Do I have anything else? We might end it a little early today, and I might actually start doing what I should do and cutting up these videos so I can get back into the algorithm and get more of you beautiful people here to talk with me. Let's go up here. Boop. Yeah, this other video is an hour. We don't have time to watch that. It'll take me 2 hours to watch that sucker without other times. So we may save that for tomorrow. If you don't know who Danky Joe is, he does like commentary videos from time to time. He is a larger, well, he has 280K YouTube channel. And if you don't know who the TikTok incest family is, you'll get to find out on Wednesday. We may watch that unless something else really comes up, but we'll watch TikTok incest family and this guy and his daughter that it's basically coming out that, yeah, they're banging and the mom has to hold the camera. It's fucking sick stuff. But anyways, we'll call it early today. I want to thank everybody for coming by. If you haven't liked the stream, go ahead and like it. And I will see you guys next time.